Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, HaRachakodash. Double honors be to the apostles and the elders who have taught us this 100% truth. Much peace and blessings be unto you, hopeful, you elected to push not this word of all truth and sincerity to Ayuachim. I do say shalom. I'm coming in with a quick lesson going into the gardens. Salaki, the rivers in Genesis, the second chapter, which I don't want to say I've been holding it off. That sounds wrong, but rather postponing it. I wanted to do a full breakdown, but what's really been itching me to, and doing a full breakdown, I just wanted to keep relearning, memorizing it over and over again. Repetition, the way people do at their secular institutions like Harvard and whatnot. Taking the truth seriously. Hey, because as it is written in 2 Timothy, study to show yourself approved. 2 Timothy, the second chapter, verse 15. I'll pull out the Bible Hub. I'll read out the NIV actually. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, the worker who does not need to be ashamed, who correctly handles the word of truth. NLT, work hard so you can present yourself to God and receive His approval. Be a good worker, one who does not need to be ashamed, who correctly explains the word of truth. Jumping down to KJV. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh. A workman that needeth not to be ashamed of divine the word of truth. So you get the general gist of it. You want to study. So you could be on top of your I don't want to say shite. Study to be on top of your thing. Alright, and I speak to myself first and foremost on that matter. So I just want to do, what's been itching me was covering the rivers, right, and I'm going to do just that. So, Genesis 2:10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became in the four heads, which I've been told, that would be the Jordan, and then you have the other four rivers. And there's a precept in Ecclesiasticus, I'll probably get out going into that. But yeah, verse 11, it reads, and the river went out of Eden. Yeah, people always get that marred up. They always think it's referring to like some mystical geographical area, somewhere in Asia. But as the man of the Lord, starting out with the elder apostle Tar and those great men on down, we've been revealed that Eden is really the name of the planet, though it's mere custom to refer to it as the earth, right? And one thing, Esau scientists refer to this planet as the rocky spear, right? The big rock, right? Which rock? Hold on, let me pull out something. Terrain. A stretch of land, especially with regard to its physical features. When you think of terrain, you think of land, rock, dirt, right? That's what you think about. That's land right there. In the Hebrew, aratazah, that's where you get your word earth from. And when you look at this photo of land, you see rock, you see dirt, and then all the minerals, sediments, and whatnot. Whatever you learn in geology. Another good example, terrain, terra. I think that's Latin. I know in Spanish it'll be tierra, which means dirt, right? And that's what earth means, dirt. So that's the land, and then you have the firmament, the first heaven, the firmament, that being the ozone layer, within our atmosphere. Which all of that, that's still all the planet. But the Earth has its own name, just the way Mars has its own name, which even though it was named by the Romans after their false god, Mars, because from Earth, the planet looks like a red dot. You have all the planets have their own names, at least within this system, because you got your Kepler, planets and all those, they just have like designated numbers and whatever. But hey, planets right here, they got their own names. Even this planet do, and it is Strong's H5731 I Dana I Don. I Don, a proper masculine noun, proper masculine locative noun. Outline of biblical usage, and it literally translates to pleasure. Alright, what's it called? I'm gonna pull out Strong's H5730. Outline of biblical usage would be luxury, dainty delight, finery delight, a pleasure. Luxuriate yourself, delight oneself, and Strong's H5727. Right, so you get the gist of it. It basically means a flipping paradise. A paradise. And when you think of paradise, man, what comes to mind? Oh, let me just pull out some photos. Paradise photos. This is what comes to mind. Look at all that. God bless, man. Look at that. Which, either this is an actual photo or I think it's an actual photo. I just can't tell because of the quality. But it looks real. But yeah, the other Apostle Ram I made the mention now. Even though the earth is extremely tainted, it's languishing, it's weak, it's lost its beauty. There are still some beautiful areas, man. Cancun is one of the prominent locations, things like that. I mean, look at this photo. And it's no wonder then as to why in Joel the 2nd chapter it makes the mention regarding the thermonuclear fire that before the missile even hit, the land is as the Garden of Eden. I think actually covers it right here in the concordance result shown using the KJV. Alright, yeah, fire, Joel 2:3, a fire divided before them and behind them, a flame burneth, land is the Garden of Eden, because there's still some natural beauty to it. And even, what's it called, your municipalities or cities, even though, your modern day cities, they look all dookie with all that pollution, from afar, they do look like pretty sights, man. Right? Your urban infrastructure. Even though, what's it called, it's a painted Jake with all that gentrification, you look at all those homes, they do look nice. They look fancy. I mean, nothing as glorious as the palaces promised in the kingdom, but they still look nice. So all this, it looks nice. Like this is a Garden of Eden. It's a Garden of Eden. Then behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, nothing shall escape them. So it's gonna be all burned up, So you look at, one thing I always talk about is Montana. I've never been to Montana. And judging from these photos, it does not look nice. But you go to its rural areas, and look at all that splendor, that beauty. Look at all that. The summits, the land formations, the valley, the river, the trees, the greenery. It looks beautiful. It looks stunning. It looks yapa, calmly to the side. This is little eye candy. You have bears that legit, what's it called, staring at nature. Bears are frequently observed sitting completely still on hillsides or riverbanks or ridges for long periods, staring out at wide landscapes. While it looks like they are admiring the view, scientists explain the stillness is a mix of sensory scanning, energy conservation, and resting. Well, that's Esau's thing, but obviously they are also admiring the beauty. Right? Hey, what's it called? Animals aren't just like robots. They're like humans. Humans, they set apart time to admire beauty. You go on a hike, you reach the top, you sit down, crisscross applesauce while sweating, drenched in freaking sweat, eating your little snack while looking at the view, looking down. I used to do that back in my hikes. Wish I gotta go on a hike again, but it's been a while. So hey, animals work the same way, man. They ain't just robots. And people have witnessed bears in the wild partaking in unusual behaviors. It's not unusual. It's universal. It's universal for animals to enjoy the view. But staring at scenic vistas such as sunsets, lakes, and mountains, right? So hey, look at that. Look at that, man. What more proof do you need? Even they regard and acknowledge the Lord's beauty. And this is really the Lord's work, man. Right? Because though the creation, it was about the Elohim, that being consisting mainly of Yahweh, or actually Yahweh is a part of that. But you read the Genesis 1 account, is Yahweh shine the angels really. Time out the Colossians, the first chapter, making the mention that all things consist by Yahweh Shai, right? At the end of the day, Yahweh gets his credit. Genesis, the second chapter, verse 4, he gave the blueprint, right? He's the king, man. He commands, and his word is fulfilled. So really, although Yahweh Shai the men do this, it was really Yahweh's, uh, you know, concept. He conceptualized all this. Look at that. Look at that beautiful, volcano-looking thing. Look at all those squiggles, man. That's snow, right? That's snow. And look at the river. Look at that bear. This bear is this bear is art. This creation. This is literal art. He or she is literal art, admiring art. How paradoxical is that? So call how about Hashem Shai. The Lord be cooking out this beauty. Barakatha Yahweh Shai, sincerely speaking. This ain't no lip service, this is legit sincerity, man. But you get the gist of it, I done. But it don't look like a paradise anymore. Like the other Apostle Ramla made the mention, there are some tainted areas that it's like, most of the earth is tainted. Though you do have some luxurious areas, some nice paradises, but again, it's mostly tainted. You got your Pacific Garbage Patch, the Great Pacific Garbage. I actually think there's more throughout the oceans. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you look at India, man. That's its own that's its own landfill. The Ganges, man, is all polluted. West Pacific, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch from west to east, right? And this is all brought to you really by Esau Edom. Look at that. This guy is anti-life, anti-peace. He's pro-death. I think there's a scripture going to that. He is as death. Yep, back at the second chapter, verse 5. They also be transgressed by wine. All philosophies and whatnot that be pouring out to these people. He is a proud man. Feeling deep pleasure or satisfaction as a result of one's own achievements, qualities, or possessions, or those of someone with whom one is closely associated. And that goes to show you prophecy is in order. It's in state. It is activated. It is in process. Because this damn devil, disregarding the fact that he's really controlled by the Most High, bring about these works. But he out here thinking, oh yeah, there is no God. That's why it's going to how the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Right? This damn devil out here thinking, what's it called? All his works were his own mofo. No, the Lord gave you that ability. What's it called? That scripture going to how he shall be wiser than Daniel. Esau being wiser than Daniel. Which Daniel, for his time, he was one of the top men. What's it called? He was the reason why he turned away Nebuchadnezzar's wrath from killing the wise men. Right? Because the Lord revealed to him, much knowledge as well. As to impart, what's it called? The statue and what it meant. Right, at the time of the Gentiles, which really did distress and bother King Nebuchadnezzar II of the, Neo-Babylonian Empire. Neo means new, right? Which it ain't new as of right now. And what's it called? It was new from thence, from that time, because he had an old Babylonian Empire, he had a new Babylonian Empire, and then America is also considered Babylon the Great. Code words right here because it falls in the same footsteps as all those ancient kingdoms. And the Lord deals with code words, right? As I've been taught from the men of the Lord, our people are people of they're people of I forget how they phrased it, but a figure of speech basically. We're people of metaphors, figure of speech, parables, and, allegories and things of that nature, proverbs, right? I digress. So yeah, this damn devil, he be cloning, he be creating cells, things of that sort, things of that nature, plastic. Hey, what's it called? Actually, hold on, let me just fact check this. Who made plastic? All right, Leo Bakeland. Yep. Edomite. um, what's it called? The father of the plastic industry. All right. Hey, but really, the Lord, gave you all that those so-called feats, you know, which really ain't nothing to gloat about because you really you causing harm and destruction, man. He is a proud man. Need to keep it at home. Yeah, he doesn't confine to one place like most people do. Like you look at Ammon in Japan, they like being confined to the little island, man. They like being confined to their island. You know, they're I forget the term, mono something people. Mono meaning single, right? So those guys are really racist, man. They see Jake. They either they get offended and disgusted, or as he's starting to see, a lot of the people, hey, they starting to what's it called, fall in love with Jake, especially the women. And you got the Ammonite women, man, so-called Japanese women, hey, they fall head over heels for Jake now, as it is with Moab and China and the other countries around that area. All them talking about some BBC and shit. That's all Jake. They love Jake. And guess what, man? Guess what? I love the heathen women, and I'm gonna enjoy them in the kingdom. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Sharatazah. He is a proud man. Need to keep it at home. Yeah, this dude, what's it called? He's so grievous. He out here conquered the whole planet, man. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not were, and who is he? Right? What's it called? He took over everything, man. One thing about him, he took over the identity of the Israelites, man. Changed the color of the Lord God and his Son, Lord and Savior, right, etc. He had made us forget who we are as a people. Wait, hold up, didn't I have a backache? My bad. I took that for backache. Right. And when he began colonizing, he slew a lot of people, man. And you see that with Christopher Columbus, right? Christopher Cristobal Colon. You have various what's it called, accounts on how this damn devil got down there. People, one account that comes to mind would be I think it was two conquistadores under Columbus. What happened was that they slew some Jake over Paris, man. I'm gonna try and search it up on that URL. Indian kids and steal their parrots. Chris Colombo. If I could find it. Shall be with me. I forget the Howard something. I'm mistaken. Some Edomite scholar. He I forget his name. Something like that. He covers these early accounts of conquistadores. Okay, I'll just read from this. The historical documentation of atrocities, the violent actions of Spanish soldiers against indigenous children, which, those are Jake, and civilians are primary themes in early colonial texts. The accounts of Bartolomé de las Casas in this text, a short account of the destruction of the Indies, the Dominican friar explicitly detailed Spanish, which I'm saying that guy's an Edomite. And what's it called? This damn devil, man, what's it called? Though he was advocating for Northern Kingdom rights, early on, he was advocating to enslave the so-called Negroes, man. Southern Kingdom, because they were genetically more capable of enduring. They're more awesome, better physiques and things like that. And then he repented from that too, right? Or so-called. I wouldn't say repented, more so he felt anguish. Hey, because a lot of these low-ranking Edomites, they may feel some pity, right? But as I've been taught, Esau can't repent. He's a wicked damn devil, right? But yeah, explicitly detailed Spanish soldiers beheading, dismembering, and killing indigenous children and terrorize populations to test the sharpness of their blades. Which now sharpness of blades, what comes to mind is an account where when Christopher, before he showed his demonic ass side, he met with the peoples, the so-called Tainos. Those are Jake. One of them grabbed the sword by the blade and cut himself. Right, so I don't know, that just came to mind. Okay, what I'm trying to look for this account though. Shut with me. Conquistadores. Behead Indian kids and take Paris. I'm gonna recheck. Well, that's not helpful. Howard something scholar, and if not, I can't find it. Then, hey, so be it. No, not that. It was some scholar. I'll eventually find it, but yeah, there is an account of some Spanish soldiers. What they did was they beheaded a group of Jake kids, man, Northern Kingdom kids, and then took their parrots. And I think it was all for fun, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it's a damn devil, man. When Majesty desires hell, yeah, he just wants to he wants to control everything, man. That's his whole point. His whole end all be out with the MLTB is to control the masses, man. To control the masses, control everything, have no privacy. I was watching a video from one of the Achim covering Full Spectrum Survival Channel, with that Edomite, which he man of the Lord always make the mention how the Lord has certain Edomites. There's a spirit to certain Edomites, they get on certain things, expose certain things, bring certain things to light. Like Charles Waisman, who is Esau Edom, I was an Edomite himself too. What was it called? That Edomite from Full Spectrum Survival. He was making a mention now. The end all be all goal is to control the people. And that's where we have the incoming, sea camps, if you will. So yeah, this dude wants to control everybody, man. Take over everything, steal all the resources. Right, who enlarged this? Actually, what's it called? Wasn't it Elon Musk? He wants to colonize Mars, man, and that's why he's always launching rockets. And I think one of his rockets last year, I think it hit the moon. Which that's also the desire of Edom, if I remember correctly, something about wanting to nuke the moon. Well, here they go indirectly nuking the moon, unless it was all planned. Yeah. One just desires hell, and it's death, man. This guy is he's the living embodiment of what death is. The action or effect of dying or being killed, the end of the life of a person or organism. Yeah, what's it called? The last thing, you see if you deal with Esau, potentially is death. That's where you have what's it called, certain Jake. Yeah, that one Jake teenager, I forget his name. It was on the news all over the place for a time. He went to, I think it was two separate incidents with two Jake, but one of them is that one Jake went to a lake party or something like that with some Edomites. The Edomites returned home safely, and Jake was nowhere to be found because he drowned. They killed him off. And they were adhering to the stereotype that Southern Kingdom can't swim, even though they could. Right? You look at your athletes, man. They be cooking, and even what's it called? Athletes that look like the so-called white man. A lot of them are also Israelites, man, to the spirit. So the notion that Jake's like at swimming it's fucking retarded. Retarded because it's slow. You be slow. You be thinking slow if you can't comprehend the fact that Jake being the salt of the earth, the best people, the finest people, they can't do simple acts like swimming. Like, what's it called? You got Jake out here, mouth flipping, doing parkour, skydiving and stuff. They can't swim. That's fucking stupid. And, any goddamn heathen, any Israelite that don't know about the Israelites and hate on each other, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shabbat Zah, you get deleted, man. And this ain't me talking. This ain't Ra'an talking. It's Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shabbat talking, man. Yakim always going to that. Right, so, microphone stuff. Hey, mic check 1 2 1 2. Right, being the microphone. And that's the Lord, threatening, man. And he's been pounding this place. He's been planning this place to smithereens. He's been spying this earth with plagues. That's in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. Or what's it called? Pull it out. Smiting Egypt. Second Ezra 15:11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretch their arm and smite Egypt with plagues before and will destroy the land thereof. Which those ancient plagues in ancient Egypt, that was a period of time. It wasn't like instantly, it was a gradual process. Hey, cause you had Pharaoh, had a stiff neck heart and shit. What's it called? But the Lord had that happen, to show and emphasize His might, and He's been doing that, man. He's been doing that, and that's why what's it called? And He's gonna continue doing that and ramp up these things, and that's why people, on the internet, like on Reddit or whatever the heck. I don't spend time on Reddit though. Sometimes occasionally I check out what's going on, but a lot of them be talking about how, ever since 2020 things have been crazy. Everything's been all doom and gloom and whatnot, summarized. And that's the thing. 2020, as the other part of the Tahar dubbed it, was the year of prophecy, and you did have a lot of stuff going on now. Hell, we thought that finna be the end, man. We thought we was gonna get beat up by that back then. Because that was a prominent year, and ever since then, it's been continuous. And sure, things may dial down. What's it called? You go to your storehouses now. There's a lot of food. Hey, but once again, as a man of the Lord, I've been making the mention, there's going to be a famine again, both manufactured and a natural famine. And again, what's it called? Esau thinks he's in control of all this shit. No. The Lord be controlling you. The Most High ruleth in the kingdoms of men, pursuing the book of Daniel, the 4th chapter, verse 17. Right? What's it called? Also, Isaiah, the 5th chapter, made the mention how, oh, Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, really paraphrase, which the modern day Assyrian is Esau. Esau is the Lord's, rod of his anger. This damn devil, there's death and rod of anger. What does that insinuate? When you afflict somebody with the rod of anger, you basically kill him. TLDR. And that's what, the Lord be using this damn devil, all this crap, man. Hey, because these are bad times. Any day with no kingdom of Israel is a bad time. It's a bad day. It's no wonder things the wife makes mention now, when the righteous are in authority, people rejoice, but when the wicked bear the world, the people mourn. Mourning is associated with bad times, grief, right? So any time without Jacob rule, and I'm talking about starting off the elect, man. Hey, it's a bad time. Hey, because you got certain, what's it called, 2/3 that are in positions of power. Those guys are freaking morons. Those aren't the men of the Lord just because they got accolades and, certain degrees like PhD and shit. That's the mind check. The Lord will, send passes according to, His heart, man. Men out of His heart, man. What's it called? Just like how David was a man out of the Most High's heart. Well, same thing. You got other men, in a similar stance. Starting with the other parts of the heart and those great men on down. Right. When I see the prophets, man, I don't see some ordinary Jake. No, I see a great man you don't mess with. Hell, what's it called? A few days ago, you had the prophets make a lesson going to how, the Lord is serious about His prophets. You don't want to fuck with the prophets, right? I never wanted to fuck with the prophets, man. I don't like messing with those men. Right? You don't mess with the Lord's men. Those men, they should really, what's it called, kind of be scary, They should really be scary, in a sense, Hey, because, hey, what's it called, who are they sent on behalf of, or if that makes any sense? Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, right? If anything, I just humble myself down, right, in the sight of those men, Side of those great men. Hey, what's it called? And they finna, what's it called? Be extolled as well in the kingdom. Where lives now praise famous men. I think that was Sirach 44:1. 144. Anyways, but I was bringing them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plague. Yeah, because Revelation 11:8 makes the mention now that great city, Egypt and Sodom, right? Because this place it's like Egypt. Egypt, was known for hardcore bondage. We were in hardcore bondage back a couple hundred years ago. First, it was Northern Kingdom, right? You have that idiom, Northern Kingdom got it first, Southern Kingdom got it the worst, because before America became institutionalized, you had the Spanish over here, and they took over control of everything, man. They was getting down on what's it called, Northern Kingdom, and then with America being instituted, Southern Kingdom, being slaves and whatnot. That was also gruesome. And what's it called? They've been through a lot of terrible things, man. They've been through worse things. Right? Hey, Southern Kingdom got the worst, and to this day we still in captivity. Why? Because I lost my train of thought. Voluntary slaves, to that term of agreements, contracts, paper. Also, we can't keep the law 100% right here. Right? We're in captivity wherever we have no true sovereignty, no true authority ourselves. And last time I checked, Esau Edom, the red man, he'd be filling up all those pots. Right? So, who has been smiting Egypt with plagues, as before, and will destroy the land thereof. Yeah, very soon, very, very soon. Very flippin' soon. So it will look as a desolate wilderness as good enough. Anyways, I digress. Oh, so I was in Habakkuk. Whom largest desire is hell and is his death and cannot be satisfied. Right, what's it called? With Jake and even with the heathen nations, they accomplished their goal. They're at peace. This damn devil, however, is like, oh, no, I want more. This guy's greedy as hell. Last time I checked, we ain't supposed to be greedy, man. But gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. True that. Hey, look, shall not all these take up a parable against them and a taunting proverb against them and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? Exactly. You be greedy as hell. What's it called? Wanting more and more and more. And to him that leaveth himself with thick clay, shall he not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Which, booties means treasure. Right? Ain't talking about a backside. Those associated with it now because, we're really, I guess it's always been associated like that because a common spoil of war was always the women. There's even, we even have laws regarding the captive women. Meaning, we could one man can have multiple women, multiple wives. All right, there are laws concerning that. One of them being, laws for the captive women, right? Even women, right? And their backside is a pleasurable, is a pleasurable thing of man for man. So you got buttocks now being referred to booty, right? Booty cheeks and things like that. But really, it means treasure. Right, splendor, and treasure can also be associated with possession. And what is the script? What did the scripture say? He that giveth a wife beginneth possession. That's in the book of Sirach. Anyways, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood and for the violence of the land and the city and of all that dwell therein. Yeah, and who's in the spoil? Esau, Edom, the nation of Israel. And what's it called? The heathen nations, though they finna be under the nation of Israel as well. Hey, what's it called? They also gonna, taunt, mock Esau. Hey, just like how it is right now with Esau being on top and the heathen being below them, and then all nations, talking shit about Jake. You have the heathen nations, besides Esau, they also, talk down on us. Well, guess what? When Jake in power and Esau becomes a scum of the earth, the heathen nations who will still be under us, they'll also, talk shit about, the scum of the earth, which is Esau, Edom. What's it called? priests that come to mind. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's Rev 13:10. Exactly. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. True facts, true facts. You know, and sword refers to weapon in general, though the modern day sword will be the gun, but it could refer to a weapon in general as well, because before before the gun ever came to be, like in ancient Rome, in ancient Greece, the Esau still got down on us with weapons of those time frames, legit swords and stuff. So we're not people of guns, so like the other apostle Gabar always makes the mention, he expresses his disdain. He expresses his true disdain for what's it called, the sword. That's like the modern day gun, which actually it was a sword. It's still a sword, right? But the modern day gun, to be specific, he constantly makes the mention how in the kingdom, because there'll still be remnants of things in this world. And he was making the mention how he can't wait for in the kingdom to seek up the earth and then destroy those remnants of this world, like doing away the guns and whatnot, right? And it's really not meat for us to have guns like that anymore. What's it called? There shall be no more wars, as I say the second chapter, right? They shall learn war no more. Now obviously we will have memories as to remember. And we'll be the ruling nation, obviously, and we're gonna have swords to get down, and what's it called, beheaded, what's it called, capital punishment, obviously righteously speaking. So like I burped, so like about that. I don't want to seem unprofessional. What's it called? The heathen, they're not gonna be fighting each other in wars anymore. They're gonna be on the same level. So beat your swords into plowshares and your spears into pruning hooks, as it is written. Whereas right now it's the opposite. It's beat your plowshares and the swords and so on. But in the kingdom, they're not gonna need it. So there'll be no point in holding gun artifacts and whatnot. We're just gonna destroy it all. Though the remembrance of it, will still be remembered. Remembering Esau's atrocities and whatnot here and there. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. So Esau back in the ancient world, they did use legit swords, or they could just refer to any modern day weapon. Well, guess what? In the kingdom, we finna treat. You get that saying, treat others the way we want to be treated. Esau out here treating others like an asshole. Guess what? Everybody finna be an asshole to you. So Jake finna. They're gonna get their due justice, man. That is justice. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. We hold patience and we have faith that we shall be given retribution in that proper time. We shall have justice, basically. And that justice is that we're going to lead those who held us captive in a captivity. Those that killed us will, they be killed with the sword as well. Point blank, period. And we know, as it is written, those things are written. Those things that are written therein are faithful and true. That's in the 15th chapter. And varying other precepts, emphasizing, like a sense of self-awareness, that the scriptures are legit. They are truthful, legitimate. What does that even mean? I know. Something is real, legal, honest, or true. People use it in a casual talk to say that a person, object, or deal is a real thing and not fake. Adjective, conforming to the rules, legal, extremely good, truly, genuinely. Yeah, and what's it called? It's written, the Most High is not a person that he should lie. So why the flip would, this not be legit? Of course it will be legit, because the Most High is not a liar. I mean, he speaks ill of lying. And that's one of the things that, hey, 6 things, as Proverbs 6 and 16, 19. These 6 things that the Lord Yahweh hate, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, Esau, they're a lying tongue. I mean, we ain't supposed to be lying. Though, we will admit there are certain times, that happen with our people. Like Jacob, being a supplanter, he pretended to be Esau and got that blessing, man. He was like, yes, I am Esau. And then, what's it called? He reincarnated as David, right? Jacob is David, and varying other individuals, of different time frames. And what happened, if I recall correctly, David pretended to be a crackhead when he was being sent to the king. He was like, "Oh crap, I'm a king. This king's gonna kill me. I gotta act like a crackhead." The dude started spitting. Acting like a crazy person, like and he was delivered like that. Hey, but what's it called? The Lord be designing it certain ways like that. I recall from an old lesson, the other apostle Ronald made the mention how, although the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai has a certain ordinance, he designates certain things, he may go astray from that. What's it called? And again, it's this movie. Because he likes drama, right? The Lord is the ultimate dramaturgist. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, best believe he's a dramaturgist. He's a playwright. He's a director, executive producer. He's everything, man. A dramaturgist, dramaturgo or something like that, is a theater expert. Yahweh's all in the Yahweh's a theater man. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, he's a man of theater. He's a theater expert. They help. He created theater, man. William Shakespeare, which is a Jake, he made the mention now, the world is a stage and we as actors, right? So, the world's a stage, and also you have little stages right there, like in various auditoriums and such. They help a theater group or writer understand, fix, and research plays and scripts, blah, blah, blah. Right? The Lord is all these. He's a director, man. Right? And all these dramaturgists and whatnot, he said those individuals too, because the ways of man of the Lord. Right? Which I've been in acting classes. It's a interesting vibe. Anyways, hands that Shannon him. Oh yeah, so this whole thing entails Esau. So pretty much this is a hate letter, not a love letter. It is a hate letter from Yahweh to Esau. Really, a proud look, lion tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devices wicked imaginations, feet swift and running to mischief, a false witness. I think that's what discord. All I could think about is one race of people, one nation of people. Now obviously this could pertain to anybody, even Jake. 2/3 of our people, man. All these YNs, man. These YNs are proud. They do lie. They do talk mad shit behind your back, and then lie in front of your face. They do shed innocent blood, man. You had some Silent Kingdom Jake, so-called a freaking transformer, alphabet community dude. He ran over an old man several times and then kissed him and then stabbed him. Like, obviously that's judgment, but that's freaking wicked, man. And just because the Lord, put a demon on you to bring about a judgment, it does not mean that you walk away freely. No, because like the prophets always make the mention, even the killers, even the perpetrators, they've been marked for destruction, man. And the Lord just adding more fuel to the flame and bring your destruction even swifter, because not only are you wicked, but you also committed another atrocity, although it was judgment for somebody else. Okay, so in the end, you still get judged, man. No hand shall go unpunished, as it is written. Right, so a heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet swift and running to mischief, a false witness, and he had this with discord. Right. And that's all Esau. He likes to consult with themselves in secret, and then devise wicked contraptions, man. Like that, what's it called? The Maxine, if you will. Which that's still a topic of concern. It was only recently where, what's it called? Dr. Fauci was getting called out because he knew that it would cause problems with pregnant women. And for those few years, man, you had a lot of people dropping after that stuff. And obviously some, they still on the scene, but a lot of them was dropping, man. Right? So on and so forth. False witness, bringing the mischief, so on this word. That's Esau. Hey, what's it called? There are that raise up strife and contention. That was in the back of the first chapter. That's Esau right there. Anyways, I digress. We get the gist of it. Stand devil's cut. What the heck? Yeah, I spent this whole time, what's it called, rambling about how weak Esau is, man. I forgot even the lesson, man. The main topic. But you know what? That's all right. We continue going in. What's it called? Obadiah, the first chapter. And this is my favorite chapter, actually. Now I think about it, it's my favorite chapter. Why? Because it mentions something very interesting, very interesting, which makes me happy. And it pretty much starts right there. 15. For the day of the Lord Yahweh was near upon all the heathen, and first and foremost Esau Edom. As thou hast done, it shall be done to thee, the reward shall return upon thy own head. Right, for the controversy of Zion, he committed so many acts and atrocities against Jake. Hey, what's it called? For as many as were astonished at thee, as it is written, right? Going all the pain and tribulation he caused Jake about our history. And what's it called? Hey, for as ye have drunk, so that's like the reward shall return upon thine own head. Again, he that liveth in captivity shall go into captivity, so on. Hey, what's it called? Esau was like the ultimate eugenicist. He's out here. He was out here, and he still was out here trying to control the population and kill Jake, man. That's his NLB, because he's had a perpetual hatred upon our people, man. Right? It was called. And though again, some of them, they may pity, they may regard, that was also Obadiah, right? Verse 10, for the violence against their brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. But most of them, they can get to dams. Hey, they stubborn as hell, just like Pharaoh was. Another example as to why this place is really Egypt. It's because Pharaoh, that's a top rank, that's an elite rank. When you got your starting off with your elites right here, they're stubborn as hell. They hate Jake and whatnot. And well, guess what? Just like how Esau tried to being the eugenicists they are. Though a lot of their former practices, they're not done away with right now. And just like how his NLBI goal though was to eliminate Jake. Well, guess what? Jake will eliminate E. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Exactly. Point blank period. So just like how you try to wipe us out, we'll wipe you out. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Oh, man, that's freaking hardcore. Suffering the same fate as we have. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Yep. Hope on this, I hope on that. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and they shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it. Right, what's it called? What comes to mind is something with Amalek. Yeah, with Amalek was a grandson of Esau, Edom. How the Lord made a promise to blot out Amalek forever. Deuteronomy 25:19. Therefore it shall be when the Lord Yahweh thy power. Which these Amalekites, man, they're really the top right now of all Edomites, man. When the Lord thy power hath given thee rest from all thine enemies. What's it called? From all thine enemies. So again, it's always a bad day when Jake is in power. But when Jake is under the power of the enemy, it's always a bad day. So I'm not sure I phrased that right. Every day is a bad day when we are under the enemy. Every day is a bad day when we are under the enemy. But when we are over the enemy, it's always a good day. Rest and good day are associated. They equate with each other. What's it called? What's the opposite of rest? It would be chaos, right? Chaos. Trouble and bad times equate. So, it is a future prophecy, man. When the Lord thy power hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, which will be soon, in the land which thy Lord thy power, Yahweh giveth thee for inheritance to possess it. We're going to go back to our land, man. That thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, and thou shalt not forget it. Oh, boy. Yahweh Hashem shall Ratazah. And it will happen. That is prophecy. And the Lord, again, he's not a man that he should lie, right? The word doesn't change either way. What's it called? I'm the Lord, I changed not, therefore ye sons of Jacob were not consumed. I think that was Malachi 3:6. Whereas in James 1, I think it was verse 14 or so, maybe verse 17, I'm not sure, around that area, I made the mention how the Father lights with whom there's no variableness. Variableness meaning change, not prone to change. So the Lord is not prone to change. Right. With that being said, I hope this lesson was edifying. For the next one, I do say shalom.